What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sincere is here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for September 27, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this to see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Hudson. And here the gear vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 264. The armor is 1211. Its roll for electronics 1139. And the attributes it has is health and ammo capacity. And then I just mentioned this is probably something I would never use, but there is a prototype electronics mod with 261 electronics and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the base operations.
Yo, check out the merchandise.
And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical MK16 with a gear score of 268. It has 23% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is responsive, prepared, and fierce. And for our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. The weapon vendor here has a Tyrant Suppressor with 7.50% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, and 5.50% headshot damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. And the gear vendor here at the front has a prototype performance mod with 7% support station range. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor. And here we have AUG AUG A3P with a gear score of 276. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Unforgiving, Destructive, and Brutal. And then also here we have a custom L86A2 with a gear score of 270. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Determined, Competent, and Deadly. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Liberator with a gear score of 268. It has 22% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Fierce, Focused, and Unforgiving. Also here we have a Black Market M60E6 with a gear score of 263. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Brutal, Prepared, and Accurate. Also here we have an Operator pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 270. It has 1203 armor. Its roll for firearms 1236, and the attributes it has is skill power and burn resistance. Also here we have a prototype stamina mod with 261 stamina and 3,144 skill power. Also here we have a prototype performance mod with 3.50% turret damage. Also here we have a heavy magazine spring with 4.50% reload speed, 11.50% magazine size, and 11.10% rate of fire. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the cavern. And here the gear vendor has some Spec Ops Gloves with the talent Savaged on there with a gear score of 278. It has 970 armor. Its roll for electronics 1253. And the attributes it has is shotgun damage, skill haste, and crit hit damage. For our next gear items, you want to head to Kerman Station. And here the weapons vendor has a Marine Super 90 with a gear score of 266. It has 320.50% stagger, and the talents it has is Fierce, Predatory, and Deadly. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Camp Clinton. And here the special equipment vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Wolves Den. And here the weapons vendor has a M700 Carbon with a gear score of 277. It has 166% headshot damage, and the talents it has is Deadly, Unforgiving, and Elevated. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Ward. And here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7% support station duration. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 3.50% sticky bomb damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 3.50% Seeker Mine damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there with a gear score of 268. The armor is 1276. Its roll for firearms 1130. And the attributes it has is stability and disrupt resistance. And then also here I'll mention we have an extended magazine with 112.50% magazine size, 4% crit hit damage, and 4.50% reload speed. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 64th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone Gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid ally heal. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 61st Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a pro red dot sight with 17% crit hit damage, 3% crit hit chance, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone Gear mod vendor has a operator mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 266. It has 877 armor. Its roll for firearms 1220. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage and blind resistance. Also here we have another Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless on there. This one has a gear score of 269. The armor is 1244. And its roll for electronics 1126. And the attributes it has is skill power and burn resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Park Ave checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a Marine Super 90 with a gear score of 273. It has 327% stagger, and the talents it has is Fierce, Adept, and Deadly. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7% Seeker Mine Explosion radius. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has a military AK-47M with a gear score of 263. It has 23% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is Fierce, Predatory, and Unforgiven. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there with a gear score of 277. The armor is 1314. Its roll for electronics 1186. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and burn resistance. You got a Tyrant Suppressor, another one here with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2.50% stability, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. And here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator's vest with the talent Vigorous on there with a gear score of 269. It has 1753 armor. Its roll for stamina 1210. And the attributes it has is skill haste and all resistance and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ2 safe room. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 269. The armor is 924. Its roll for stamina 1167. And the attributes it has is exotic damage resilience and disoriented resistance. And then also here we got a Spec Ops armor with the talent Reckless on there with a gear score of 269. It has 1779 armor. Its roll for stamina 1216. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage, health on kill, and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you want to head over to DZ3 safe room. In here, the Dark Zone weapons vendor has an MP7 with a gear score of 264. It has 22% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is brutal, accurate, and unforgiving. Alright, also here we have a custom P416 G3 with a gear score of 268. It has 23% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is competent, responsive, and meticulous. And also here we have a tactical M249 Para with a gear score of 270. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents it has is Unforgiven, Adept, and Sustain. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ8 Safe Room. And here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 270. The armor is 894. Its roll for firearms 1224. And the attributes it has is exotic damage resilience and damage to elites. And then also here we have a Gunslingers Vest with the talent Rapid on there with a gear score of 280. It has 1949 armor. Its roll for electronics 1244. And the attributes it has is health, all resistance, and increased kill XP. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video. I hope everybody who tuned into it was able to find some gear that they needed. And I want to thank everybody for the comments. Thank everybody who subbed into the channel. I really appreciate that support. Thank you guys. And I will kick it with y'all with the next one, everybody. Take care. Peace.